The dim light of the office cast a somber glow on Harper Quinn's desk as she overheard the words she had never anticipated hearing again. Her father's voice was sharp, cutting through the silence with an iciness that brought back memories she had buried long ago. "Harper, I'm not here for favors," he spoke, his gaze unwavering. The sudden reappearance left her clutching the desk, fighting to keep her composure. This was the man who had ghosted out of her life 20 years ago, leaving them with little more than shadows of resentment and questions. At 34, Harper, a seasoned corporate attorney, had carved out a life of stability, both for herself and her clients. Much of her journey had been shaped by the absence of this very man. Landon Quinn, her father, had vanished without farewells, leaving her and her mother to navigate life alone. Now, sitting across from him, the request he made wasn't just another case, it was personal. "You're asking me to defend you in court?" Her voice was steady, but the undercurrent of unresolved betrayal laced each word. "This isn't just business, and you know it. You need my help." Landon shifted, the discomfort of the moment evident, yet he remained direct. "Harper, this needs to stay professional. I sought you out because you're the best at what you do." The transactional nature of his plea stung. Landon had always treated life like a series of deals, his relationship with Harper no exception. Yet, beneath his calculated veneer, there was a hint of something else, perhaps guilt, perhaps remorse. "I need time to think," Harper declared, resolving to maintain control as she gestured towards the door. Her firm demeanor contrasted with the turmoil within. Landon rose, adjusting his suit with a stiffness that masked deeper fears. "Remember, Harper, my life is at stake," he remarked, the tension following him out of the room. Alone, Harper stared at the spot he'd vacated, her mind racing with memories of past neglect, missed birthdays, and silent holidays. Later, Harper reached out to Riley Donovan, her mentor and confidant. "He just came back, Riley, expecting me to help as though nothing had happened," Harper vented, pacing under the dim kitchen light. No apology, no acknowledgement, just a desperate plea. Riley's voice came through the phone with a calm wisdom. "Harper, you're a lawyer first. Can you separate personal hurt from professional duty?" It was a question Harper grappled with as she gazed out at the twinkling cityscape. Determined to disentangle her emotions, Harper immersed herself in the case files Landon had left. The allegations were grave: embezzlement of millions from Quinn Capital Group. The trail seemed damning: suspicious bank transfers, forged reports, glaring financial inconsistencies. Yet, with every page, a peculiar inconsistency gnawed at her instincts. Her father might be impetuous, but meticulous crime seemed beyond him. Then, a name surfaced amid the documents: Brody Harlan, Landon's longtime business partner. Digging deeper into Brody's involvement, Harper unearthed possibilities of ulterior motives. The financial patterns were too precise, the discrepancies too convenient for a man like Landon. If he fell, Brody stood to gain monumental leverage. Seeking clarity, Harper called Riley once more. "This doesn't align. Brody Harlan had much to gain if my father took the fall," she explained, her conviction growing. "If your suspicions are right, Harper, you're uncovering more than a defense. Are you ready to uncover a larger truth?" Riley's words resonated with Harper, leaving her staring at the skyline, contemplating the crossroads ahead. When the dawn light filtered through Harper Quinn's apartment, she knew what she had to do. After a night of restless contemplation, she picked up the phone and called her father, Landon. The decision was made she'd take on the case, but with strict conditions attached. "I'll defend you, but I'm running this my way," she asserted, ensuring her terms were as clear as the morning sky. Surprisingly, Landon didn't argue. There was a weariness in his voice that suggested he understood the gravity of his situation, or perhaps realized he was out of alternatives. It set a serious undertone for the journey ahead. For Harper, the challenge was twofold: sifting through convoluted financial records and confronting the unresolved tension between them. The legal battle felt less like a quest for justice and more like navigating an emotional minefield. Yet, she anchored herself with a silent mantra: this was about the truth, nothing more. Their first strategic meeting took place in Harper's office. The room was palpable with unspoken words. Landon sat across from her, guarded and tightly coiled like a spring. Occasionally, though, there was a flicker of something vulnerable in his eyes, only to be smothered as quickly as it surfaced. Professionalism veiled Harper's personal turmoil as she outlined their approach. As they delved into details, a compliment escaped Landon's lips. "You've got a knack for this, Harper." A grudging respect lingered in the air. Harper paused, uncertain whether to embrace or reject the praise. "It's my job," she replied, keeping her tone even. The brief thaw between them quickly refroze, and they resumed their clinical discourse. As the case evolved, so did Harper's challenges. Landon's business partner, a shrewd and elusive figure named Brody Harlan, seemed intent on clouding the issue. His deposition danced around culpability, suggesting Landon's guilt while strategically omitting his own role. It was a tense juggling act, balancing courtroom strategies with personal reflection. Over steaming mugs of coffee one evening, Harper confided to her mentor, Riley Donovan. "He's difficult to read, Riley. It's like he's hiding something while also grasping for a lifeline." Riley observed thoughtfully, "Family isn't just about ties, Harper. It's like looking into a distorted mirror. Everything gets jumbled with past scars and sentiments. But you're doing the right thing, unearthing the truth." Her insight resonated as Harper pressed forward. Each step in preparation felt like an excavation not solely for her father, but for herself. Proving Landon's innocence meant more than just redemption. It meant proving to herself that she could handle the entangled past with dignity. During a late-night work session, the weight of their history finally cracked the veneer of civility. As Harper laid out a sequence of fiscal events, she noticed Landon drift, absorbed by the view outside, his thoughts distant. "What's on your mind?" Harper asked, the question bare of judgment. Landon hesitated, then admitted, "Just the past." Harper set her pen down, met Landon's detached gaze. "About how you ended up here or the years you left Mom and me to manage alone?" Her tone struck harder than expected, but she didn't retract it. Landon seemed momentarily rattled, facing the unvarnished truth of Harper's accusation. "Harper," Landon began, before Harper interrupted, unwilling to skirt the issue. "No, we're facing this. You disappeared, and then appeared now, just because you need something. Do you even care?" Landon's face hardened momentarily, but then broke into a heavy sigh, his stance crumbling. "You're right," he conceded, the confession startling in its openness. "I've made mistakes, big ones, and I didn't think I could come back after what I did." Taken aback by this unexpected admission, Harper felt years of imagined confrontations unravel. In the expansive silence, she heard the echo of what she'd long concealed, her hurt melting into a sudden understanding. "But you never even tried," she murmured. Underneath the glow of the fading afternoon light, Harper Quinn wrestled with a decision that had once seemed unimaginable. Sitting across from her father, Landon, the air between them heavy with unspoken history, Harper finally voiced the question that had plagued her. "You vanished, leaving us to mend our lives alone. Why should I be the one to help you now?" The words hung in the air, a haunting specter of their fractured past. Landon's eyes lingered on the bustling street beyond the window. "Not a day goes by that I don't regret it," he confessed, his voice low, drenched in years of remorse. Harper shook her head, the mixture of pain and confusion swirling within her. "What am I even doing here, fighting your battle after all you've neglected?" Silence drenched the room as Landon finally turned towards Harper, his gaze carrying an unexpected vulnerability. "Maybe it's because you're stronger than I've ever been, Harper," he offered, leaving his daughter stunned. But Harper wouldn't be swayed by what felt like an evasive compliment. "This isn't about virtue. It's about truth," Harper insisted, setting the terms of their alliance. Landon exhaled slowly, leaning back into the chair that suddenly seemed too small for the weight of his burdens. "You've held on to something I lost long ago," he acknowledged, a sense of integrity. "You could have walked away, but you chose not to. That says more than you realize." Harper leaned in closer, suspicion etched on her features. "Integrity doesn't imply guilt by assumption, Dad. Are you trying to tell me you're innocent?" Her voice cut through, sharp and direct. Landon met her gaze steadily. I might have tripped over bad choices, but I never stole from Quinn Capital Group. I'm no thief. Harper scrutinized her father carefully, the sincerity in Landon's tone almost compelling. Yet, past betrayals barred Harper from accepting it entirely. Why, then, does every finger point at you? She pressed. The transactions, the phony records, every trail leads here. That's what I'm trying to decipher, Landon responded, his frustration barely contained. Someone's framed me, Harper. I didn't do any of it. A flicker of pity stirred in Harper, yet she wasn't about to let her father off easily. Then hope I uncover the truth, Harper warned, rising to her feet, determination hardening her resolve. If you're lying, I won't shield you. Committed to untangling the truth, Harper delved deeper into the intricate web of evidence. The name of Landon's sly partner, Brody Harlan, surfaced repeatedly, his schemes woven just below the surface, carefully crafted not to be overtly conspicuous. Harper needed more than gut feelings. She needed undeniable proof. During a crucial strategy session, Harper laid out her findings. Harlan had complete access, every account, every ledger entry, she explained, pointing to an exhaustive timeline she'd meticulously compiled. He's been methodically pulling assets away, safeguarding them under his private interests. Landon absorbed the information, uncharacteristically silent. Do you really believe he orchestrated this? Landon questioned, wary yet open. I do, Harper affirmed. But belief isn't enough. Evidence is what counts. Harlan is cunning, possibly too clever to leave tracks. The pivotal shift arrived during a pre-trial hearing. Kendall Voss, a senior accountant at Harlan Enterprises, was summoned to testify. Initially, her responses were seamless, polished, and unrevealing. Yet as Harper pressed on financial discrepancies tied to Harlan, a subtle change emerged. Kendall's composure cracked, her gaze darting toward the exit. Sensing a crack in the facade, Harper seized the chance. Ms. Voss, she addressed her, ensuring her tone remained steady. Is there anything regarding Mr. Harlan that you need to share? Any conduct or conversations that might shed light on the situation? Kendall hesitated, visibly torn between loyalty and truth. The room hushed with anticipation. Her eyes flickered, a war of instincts playing out just beneath the surface. Harper Quinn's heart pounded like a drum in her chest as the courtroom fell into a tense silence, all eyes trained on Kendall Voss. What Kendall whispered next about the overheard phone call cut through the air with the sharpness of a blade. I heard Mr. Harlan say Landon was the perfect scapegoat. The words lingered, heavy with implication. Harper locked eyes with her co-counsel, Riley Donovan, a silent exchange that carried the weight of realization. Why didn't you report this sooner? Harper pressed gently. Kendall shook her head, her expression one of conflict. I didn't think it was my place. But it's been gnawing at me. This revelation was significant, but Harper knew they needed more, a smoking gun to substantiate Kendall's claim. Harper thanked Kendall sincerely, promising further contact. That evening, immersed in the glow of computer screens, Harper joined Jordan Hale, their IT specialist. For weeks, he had waded through digital archives, his hopes pinned on unearthing something unassailable. We're getting close, Jordan stated, eyes flickering over as he scanned intact files. If there's a hint of evidence, it'll be buried here. 2 long days dragged on with quiet dread until Jordan's call came, tinged with urgency. Harper, we've got it. Adrenaline surged through her as Harper straightened in her chair. What did you find? An email, sent by Harlan to an external accountant. It's vague but damning, he said. He mentioned shifting blame deliberately. Deleted it, but backups kept a trail. What exactly does it say? Harper asked. Jordan recited, the setup ensures Landon takes the hit if things unravel. Stay discreet. Relief and vindication washed over Harper. This is it. Our concrete evidence. Jordan continued, I checked the IP, matches Harlan's office computer. There's no evading this. Harper hung up, reflecting on the scattered notes on her desk. Kendall's testimony, coupled with the email, had become a beacon, a route to justice. The task ahead was clear: display the truth in court. As the court date loomed, Harper entered, carrying the burden of both her father's fate and her team's efforts. Landon Quinn, her father, sat beside her, his silence a testament to the day's importance. Harper opened the folder, her grip steadying her resolve. The prosecution painted Landon as negligent, threatening the foundation of Quinn Capital Group. Harper remained composed, waiting her turn with quiet determination. When the moment arrived, she rose, email copy in hand, voice unwavering. "Your Honor," Harper began, projecting calm authority, "I present new evidence implicating Brody Harlan in a calculated deception against my client." Murmurs swept across the chamber as Harper distributed the email among the judge and opposition. This document survived deletion attempts, illustrating Harlan's intent to deflect suspicion onto my client, Landon Quinn. Allowing the room to grasp the weight of their discovery, Harper added, "Additionally, corroborating testimony from an employee highlights Mr. Harlan's deliberate strategy to exploit my client." The judge nodded, urging Harper to proceed. Each word cemented the narrative, galvanizing hope that the truth would shine through resoundingly. As the courtroom buzzed with anticipation, Harper Quinn drew a deep breath, ready to expose the web of deceit spun by Brody Harlan. This was no mere oversight case. It was a meticulously crafted scheme to divert blame and evade accountability. For the first time, she noticed a crack in Brody's polished demeanor. His shifting eyes betrayed unease as he exchanged anxious glances with his lawyer. Across the room, Harper's father, Landon, looked her way, his stare conveying a newfound respect that bridged years of silence between them. The judge meticulously reviewed the evidence. Harper watched intently, seeking any hint as the gavel slammed down. "The court finds compelling reason to redirect its focus to Mr. Brody Harlan," the judge announced, adjourning the case against Landon Quinn indefinitely while launching into probing the fresh revelations. The courtroom erupted in murmurs. Landon turned to Harper, his face a mixture of relief and surprise. For a moment, it seemed he might speak, but he simply nodded, acknowledging her efforts. In the days that followed, Landon was formally cleared of all allegations. As Brody became the subject of an intense investigation, tabloids splattered his name across headlines, detailing his dubious dealings. Harper's victory secured her father's freedom, yet it stirred a complex brew of emotions within her. The truth had been her goal, but the journey unearthed long-buried feelings she wasn't ready to navigate. That evening, they met in her office. Landon had requested the meeting, his voice unexpectedly gentle over the phone. When he arrived, he seemed different, less guarded, more vulnerable. Taking a seat, he cast about for the right words in the lingering silence. "I wanted to express my gratitude," he began, his voice soft and sincere. "I realize I might not deserve it, but thank you for everything." Harper leaned back, arms folded, her response measured. "You don't need to thank me. I did my job as your attorney." He winced but nodded. "You were more than just my lawyer. You saved my life, Harper, despite all I've put you through." She studied him closely, searching for authenticity. "It wasn't loyalty," she finally said. "It was about finding truth, proving to myself I could be everything you weren't." Her words settled heavily on him. "I wish I could rewrite the past," Landon murmured. "To have been there for you and your mother. But I can't. All I can offer is my pride in who you've become, even if I wasn't part of it." Briefly, Harper felt sympathy's tug, but quickly quelled it. The years of neglect and absence were too deeply etched. "I don't need your pride," she replied, voice unwavering. "I needed a father, and when I needed you most, you weren't there." He nodded, accepting her indictment, his eyes somber. "I hope one day you'll forgive me." She let silence fill the space, offering no reply. Forgiveness wasn't yet in her reach. Some wounds were too profound, their scars not easily erased. But watching him wrestle with his choices, it struck her that she didn't need his approval. She didn't even need his pride. What she needed was to validate her own strength, to rise above the pain and abandonment he'd left in his wake, and she had. She had revealed the truth and stood firm in her own worth. As Landon faded into the gathering dusk, Harper lingered alone in her office, enveloped by quiet. No longer the child he'd forsaken, she had become Harper Quinn, a formidable figure who had fought and won for her sense of self. Beneath the dim glow of the office lamps, a sense of accomplishment settled over Harper Quinn. For the first time, she felt truly proud of who she had become, a testament to resilience and the pursuit of truth. Her journey hadn't been easy, but it carved a strength she'd never known. Thanks for joining us on this journey. If this story resonated with you, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing for more captivating tales. Your support means the world and ensures you won't miss our upcoming narratives. Until next time, take care and enjoy the stories to come.